Alright, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson. Coming at you tonight with a fight review. So we're going to Park City, Kansas for LFA 94. We're going to the Strawweight division. Strawweight Championship. Vanessa Lil Monster Demopoulos coming in at 5-2, defending her title against the challenger Lupita Godinez coming in at 4-0. First round. Loopy showed to be the superior striker early in the fight. With fast, powerful boxing. Demopoulos tried to pull guard once and failed. She did land a nice high kick, but that was countered. And honestly, just Loopy's punches just managed to keep finding their way through Demopoulos' guard. Second round, Loopy backed Demopoulos to the cage early with some hard punches. Now, Demopoulos did manage to fight her way off, though. Again, Loopy's punches just kept finding their home. Demopoulos did pull Loopy to the ground temporarily, but Loopy had her hurt coming back to the feet. Managed to punch her on the way back up and hurt her. But Demopoulos' toughness was able to pull her through. Now, third round, Demopoulos came out swinging early, landing some punches. Loopy, however, continued to outbox her. Demopoulos did land an occasional overhand, and once dove in for legs, but failed. Whereas Loopy seemed to slow a little, but easily took it. Now, fourth round, Demopoulos did some nice work in the clinch, and then after they broke, Loopy was able to drop Demo with a real stiff jab that caught Demopoulos coming in, and it had Demopoulos hurt pretty badly. Like, she got up and looked to the ref and said something to her, and you, excuse me, you could kind of tell she was out of it. She was bloodied and bruised by this point, but after that, she got more aggressive. Like, she got hurt, but after she recovered a little bit, she got more aggressive, and honestly, both fighters were given as good as they got. I mean, this fourth round, the fight turned into a war. Fifth round, Demopoulos came out, and she starts leading with the right hand and even lands a nice high kick. Loopy, though, was still more effective with her boxing. But by this time, both fighters were bruised, bloodied, and cut. I mean, Loopy's left eye was almost swollen shut, whereas Demopoulos had like multiple cuts around her right eye. I mean, they were both bloody mess. Demopoulos got a takedown, moved to half guard, started landing some hard elbows from the top, but Loopy was working her way out the whole time looking for a sweep, and when Demopoulos started landing the harder elbows, she was able to kick her way out and stand back up. But Demopoulos stood up, jumped on Godinez from the front, pulled guard basically, wrapped up one arm around for like a guillotine, and latched on the figure four leg lock around the body. So Loopy walked her over to the cage, and then followed her, took her to the ground. Landed some nice ground and pound while Demopoulos tried to do her guard magic. But both ended up returning to their feet with like maybe 30 to 45 seconds left. And you just had a final half minute of the fight where both fighters were just throwing everything they had. I mean, they just slugged it out, absolutely slugged it out to the final bell. So it went to the judges. Two judges had it 49-46 and 48-47 for Godinez, while one final judge saw it even closer than that, had it 47-47 for your winner by majority decision and new LFA champion, Loopy Godinez. This fight was a serious war, and I'm telling you right now, it is a serious ladies' fight of the year contender. I don't know if it'll beat Zan versus Joanna come January when I do my year-end awards, but this is definitely in a contender, and hopefully recency bias won't play a factor in it. But yeah, it was an absolute war. It was kind of a mismatch for the first 2.5 rounds, but Demopoulos really came through towards the end of the fight, and it showed with one judge giving it the 48-47, seeing only 1 round difference, and then one judge even seeing it a draw. Now, Godinez's boxing, that's a beauty to watch. She has very good boxing for MMA. I'd like to see her work some more kicks and some knees and elbows into her game, but her boxing is very nice. She just kept finding her way through the guard of Vanessa Demopoulos. Of course, Vanessa Demopoulos, on the other hand, she's got to be the toughest female fighter in MMA right now. I mean, she can just take an absolute beating and not only keep going, but she'll come back even harder. I mean, she was doing better as the fight wore on and as she was getting more beat up. I mean, there was a couple times where Loopy had her hurt bad, and she just managed to find her way through and just keep coming forward and even start giving back more. One thing that was funny was in their post-fight interview, Pat Miletich was interviewing Lupita Godinez, and he tried to mention that, you know, they have a challenger possibly lined up for her, and what does she think? And Godinez just straight up said, you know, I deserve to be in the UFC, and that's where I belong. She basically just said, hey, LFA title is a stepping stone. I thought that was kind of hilarious because, like, everyone knows that LFA is like one of the main pipelines into the UFC. And she just straight up basically implied that with what she said. Like, no, I'm not trying to defend the title. I'm trying to get to the UFC. It's not worth defending. So I thought that was kind of funny. Now, for things to work on. For Godinez, you know, she seemed to slow down in the 3rd and especially the 4th round. Now, this was her first 5-round fight, but she's got to learn to conserve her energy, because if she doesn't go to the UFC right away and return to 3-round fights, she might have to defend the title once or twice, and that's going to mean possibly more it's going to mean more scheduled 5-round fights, but she can't finish those opponents. Yeah, it's going to be she could be in for a long night because if she got to conserve her energy. Now, for Demopoulos, you know, she relies too much on her toughness. She desperately needs to round out her game. She's basically a jiu-jitsu fighter with an overhand right. She needs to start working on her takedowns more, start working on her wrestling, which will help her with her takedowns, needs to work on her striking a shit ton. I mean, an absolute metric shit ton. And just, yeah, round out her game. She also, big thing here, and Pat Miletich called it out a couple times, she overextends too much when she throws her punches. She'll start chasing after her opponent with her punches, and she overextends and leaves her open to counters a lot. Now, for fights to make. For Demopoulos, I think she should have a rematch with Lobeth Young. Lobeth Young scored a technical knockout win earlier in the night in the same event. And they had a fight earlier this year, I believe, or maybe last year. And it was very close. And I'd like to see that rematch go on. Now, for Godinez, if she doesn't get the UFC call-up, I think the Sam Hughes match would be the way to go. Hughes, when she fought Demopoulos for the vacant title, she was actually pulled out ahead, and Demopoulos was able to come back from behind, get a, inverted reverse triangle, and choked her out. But Hughes was probably on her way to winning that fight before that. And then she came back and won her next fight. So Hughes is probably next up for the title, and that's the fight to make. I think that would be a very good fight between Godinez and Hughes. Okay, so those are my thoughts on this 5-round absolute war between Lupita Godinez and Lil Monster Demopoulos. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. Of course, if you like the video, please give it a like, and while you're at it, subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.